Hello and welcome to the Big Bank Theory podcast. My name's John. I'm here with my friend and colleague Dan.
Hello.
Dan, it's curious times really to be an Exeter City supporter. On one hand, deep satisfaction. On the other hand, deep malaise.
Yeah, I mean, you say that, but it's you say it's curious, but it's literally just exactly the same as it has been for the last 3 years.
Oh, right, okay. Well, I'm harking back to a time.
I reckon if we went back to this podcast that was the last season's equivalent of this one, we'd be saying much the same.
You're probably right. But there was a longer period of pickup, and it was actually quite good, wasn't it, towards the end of last season, whereas don't feel like the football's great, but the results are happening. Can't deny it.
They surely are. And Bristol Rovers.
City away to the Gas.
We always win there now.
Yeah, that's just what we do now.
4 in a row.
Bosh.
They may well go down now.
We may have sunk them. We were saying last week, weren't we?
Well, yeah. Well, we combined with Burton, who we are also playing again. We're also playing this weekend, so it could be further damning of the Rovers.
Yeah, it could.
But, yeah.
So it was a 2-1 win for City.
2-1.
2-0 at half-time. Kind of against the run of play. Niskanen does a nice turn on the...
Was it against the run of play?
Yeah, I'd say it was a bit against the run of play.
Okay.
You disagree?
No, I just think they're rubbish, you know. Like,
well, fair. It wasn't a game to live long in the memory, was it?
No.
Anyway, Niskanen turns on the wing.
He nutmegs the defender.
It's good, but then his cross is, as you'd expect, doesn't pass their first man, but their first man fails to deal with it. Caleb Watts is there to slot.
Yes, he is. No Josh McGuinness this week because he is injured.
Yeah.
So it meant that Cox was up front, and it provides a different thing, doesn't it? You know, I think he did quite well in the first half. It's just a different proposition for the defenders. It's a different proposition for us. He doesn't do the same things that Josh McGuinness does.
No, he does not, no.
But we scored 2 goals from 2 midfielders arriving in the box, which we haven't seen a huge amount of. And it could be something to do with that, maybe.
Indeed so. Yeah, so Watts gets there first, doesn't he? And I stand by this. He's been one of the shining lights of a fairly dull season. Watts.
Yeah, I think so.
Never makes sense that he doesn't start to me. Hey?
I don't even think that's particularly controversial.
No, maybe not. What's controversial then is that he's not always first name on the team sheet.
Yeah, but then nobody is, are they? Apart from McGuinness and...
Well, if we've got a settled centre-back system...
Yeah, and that he tends to keep that once it's in place. But although saying that, this was different again this week, so the centre-backs weren't even the same, because obviously Ed Turns was back.
Yeah, with a mask. The fan turns of the opera, you might call him.
Very good. Excellent pun.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, he had a little mask on.
Yeah. Presumably a cheekbone injury.
With his big gash on his face, that's what it is, yeah.
Big gash on his face injury.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. Anyway, Turns... So who was it? Oh, Angus MacDonald was missing, wasn't he? That's right, yeah. So he has tinkered again. The Tinker Man.
Yeah.
Anyway.
MacDonald didn't have his best game last week, so maybe that's why he's...
I mean, Fitzwater...
And then also you got to look at someone like Ben Purrington, who came off at half-time in that... Who was that against? Wrexham or Stockport. And then just never been seen again. Haven't been seen since. Not even on the bench.
It's
really weird. It seems to happen sometimes. They just do have one sort of half, and then they'll be punished for about 2 months.
Absolutely banished.
Yeah.
Got to go and sit on the island in the middle of the river.
Yeah. Now, I know that that's potentially because someone else comes in and does well and there's no way back in, but, I don't know. It always just seems noteworthy.
Yeah, indeed. And then Kevin MacDonald was starting.
He was, yeah.
Again, slightly mysterious. Hadn't been seen for months, and then there he is. But whatever.
Yeah, and then Jake Richards was back on the bench, but don't think he didn't come on, did he? But
no.
But he's another one who's just been missing since the Charlton game. And then suddenly he's back on the bench. But It's all a bit strange, but I mean, you can't argue with the result.
And you can't argue with the second goal. So this is an absolute beauty from man of the moment, Reece Cole.
It was a lovely goal. It's probably goal of the season, isn't it?
Did you see him talking about how much he loves having a song about him before this game, and how he really feels like Exeter City are behind him, the supporters are behind him? I think that's true. I think we just want him to do well, even though he's not had a very good season.
He does strike me as a sort of one of those players who needs to feel the love.
Yeah.
And then when it's all kind of going well, then his performances kind of match it, match that kind of enthusiasm.
Yeah.
I think we've just been unlucky to not have him fit for this season, because he's shown what he can do
in
the last
absolutely.
couple of games when he's been back in there and stuff, and he's got something that very few of the other players have got.
Yeah, he's a fine player, isn't he?
Which is a lovely little bit of technique every once in a while.
So he got that goal against Wigan on Tuesday, and then here he was again. This is another different kind of volley.
He kind of starts the move, really.
Yeah.
When there was the ball, dinks it over the defender's head, lays it off to Niskanen. Niskanen plays it to the overlapping Jack McMillan, who then just clips it back into Cole, who'd made a run into the box, but then kind of like stalled his run as the defenders kind of dropped deeper and then just left in a little bit of space. But still,
It's a waist-high volley, isn't it?
The technique on it is, again, I just don't think there's anyone else in the team who would be able to do that.
Makes my hip hurt just watching it.
Yeah, beauty.
Wonderful. So that's 2-0
Yeah.
at half-time. And obviously, Bristol Rovers well aware that their season is falling apart.
Yeah. We weren't particularly brilliant in this game, but they were worse. It's just terrible. It's going really badly for them.
In my mind, they're a championship club, which I know isn't really true. I guess that's just me remembering being a kid and then being Championship, League One. But they're not. They shouldn't be a League Two team.
You wouldn't have said so. There's all strange goings on there, isn't there, with which we're kind of aware of because of Matt Taylor was there, and he said some stuff about, I'm not sure what their ownership is, but it's to do with them. And he said some things about how he'd come back from that kind of compassionate leave thing, and then he wasn't, the owners were picking the team and stuff like this, and it was all, it all sounds pretty weird. Yeah,
it makes you grateful for our setup, even when it's not functioning particularly effectively.
Yeah, of course, you'd rather have, There
we are. So they got a consolation in the second half. They were putting the pressure on a bit, weren't they? But
this is an interesting one because it's a goal which all three of our centre-backs conspire to let in.
Yeah, it was a real team effort on that
front. So
it's
just a punt up the field from the goalkeeper. Fitzwater and Hartridge both failed to do anything about that ball as it comes down.
Yeah.
So it bounces, and then it bounces also over Ed Turns' head, and I'm not sure the Rovers player's name, but he slips in and then beats Whitworth at his near post. So
it didn't cover ourselves in glory.
Very calamitous goal, really. Like, absolutely awful one to concede. Luckily, we were already 2-0 up.
Didn't matter.
They didn't offer much else.
Cole could have got a third at the end, couldn't he? But
talk about like calamitous. It just looked like such a weird little passage of play. It looked like, for all the world, whoever was in the middle there was offside. Whoever it was who's played Colwell in, maybe it's Cole, not sure. But the linesman didn't give that. And then Colwell just got a pretty simple tap in, and then he just misses the target.
There it is.
Didn't matter.
We
held on 8 minutes of extra time, added on time, and
2-1, 3 points. Thank you very much. Now, Gary's tasked the team with getting a better points tally than last season, which still requires, I think, 3 more wins. So,
how many points did we get last season?
Oh, that's a good question. I should look that up.
60 odd.
Yeah. So we're some way off it. I mean, obviously, it's good to motivate the players towards something when we're clearly safe, but that was his request of them. We got a win, so can't argue with that. Really can't.
Yeah, we got 61 points last season.
And we're currently on 50-something. Well, 52, presumably, if I've done my maths right. But Nevertheless, very nice for 1,500.
52 at the minute, yeah. So we'd need 3 more wins from the final 4 games in order to match last season.
I mean, let's be fair.
That would probably bump us up a couple of places.
We've actually got a chance of top half finish.
Yeah, I mean...
It's unlikely.
Barnsley are... I'm just looking at how high we could go.
Yeah.
Blackpool 10th are on 60 currently and have played a game less than us. So that looks unlikely. 11th is Barnsley, same games with 57 points. So if we did win 3 of the remaining 4, depending on other people, yeah. So I feel like 11th is the highest we could possibly get.
I mean, that would be an enormous leap.
Obviously, last season we were 13th. That is
13th
possible.
seems possible. 2
Currently
points
we're
in
15th.
it. Our goal difference isn't very good. But there we are. I mean...
No shit.
It's this... it's this paradox, isn't it? Again, fair play, Gary, Perks, the Codgers. You've got us firmly mid-table in League One.
Yeah.
And if you'd asked any of us back in August, we'd say that would be fine, thank you very much.
Yeah.
We'd be pleased with that.
It takes time to establish yourself as a League One club, which you kind of got. You don't have to do that. Just look at Stockport and Wrexham. You know, if you've got resources, you don't need to establish yourself as anything. You just waltz through it.
Yeah.
But it's not going to be the case for us. So, you know, I mean, nothing's going to happen. I mean, I suppose there's an outside chance that Coldwell has had enough of it down here, has got enough cachet up the yin-yang to move on to get something else closer to home or more money or something like that. There's a chance of that, but I say that I would think that the likelihood is that he stays for another season. And then all we can do is kind of hope that maybe like next season something clicks and we get the right combination of players and that we can build upon the, you know, the good things we've seen this season, the defensive side of things, and that maybe we can possibly add in a little bit more in attack next season.
Yeah,
maybe, and that's just like kind of an optimistic kind of look at what might happen.
I mean, well, we said last week, I think it was, we're not that far off being a firmly top 10 team. We're not that far off in terms of points, like you just said.
Yeah.
It's only a few points away from 11th and whatever. So if next season he does exactly the same kind of football, but we don't have that massive dip, then I guess you call that progress.
Well, the big difference is the big thing that would need to change is sort of we'd have to, if you want to be in the top half, you have to actually beat some of the teams that are in the top half.
Indeed so.
Which isn't something we've managed to do with any kind of consistency or at all. So that's what would have to change, which would involve, if you ask me, you have to kind of go for it a bit more against those teams. You have to kind of not be quite as conservative when you set up. And you might as well just look at this season and go like, well, that didn't work anyway. So you've got nothing to lose. You might as well try, you know.
You
might as well try and attack these teams. Well, next season there won't be Birmingham. There won't be probably Wrexham, and then presumably whoever the other team is will be fairly. I mean, I wouldn't call Stockport a big team, but I mean, it'll be another. Whoever goes up will be another kind of like team who've got resources or a bigger kind of club. I know there'll be people coming down. There's possibly Cardiff coming down. It could be Derby, Argyle, like big clubs too.
Yeah.
So it's not like you're like, oh, it's going to be easier next season. I'm not saying that at all, but
I mean, Birmingham were an absolute anomaly. Never should have come down. Rooney sunk them, right?
Yeah.
And they already had the investment, which meant that at the beginning of last season, the wealthy owners could buy Jay Stansfield for 15 million. Right?
And the others, yeah.
That's rare. Like Argyle aren't doing that if they come down. Derby aren't doing that if they come down. Even Cardiff probably aren't doing that. Most teams that get relegated are at a low ebb for a reason. Birmingham kind of weren't. So that was a weird factor. Wrexham obviously is just a bizarre situation that's completely unlikely to be repeated, even though everyone seems to be desperate for a documentary now. about some.
Yeah, so Birmingham are doing a documentary. It turns out they've been doing a documentary.
Yes.
So I'm guessing if they hadn't got promoted,
Yes.
that would never have seen the light of day.
You'd assume so, yeah.
That's
yeah.
dishonest. If you ask me, that is dishonest
Okay.
filmmaking.
Anyway, I think what we can say is Birmingham, I mean, they're going to finish with 100 plus points. That's not repeated. Wrexham will be probably 20 points behind them, going up in second place. Certainly 10 plus. So it is going to be different next year. And you're absolutely right. Whoever leaves from the playoffs, plus whoever comes down, plus whoever comes up from League Two, it's going to be a less Shazam-y kind of league.
Yeah, but only a bit. And it's not like I don't think it changes anything for us. We've not only been sort of terrible against Birmingham and Wrexham and teams that are we've been terrible against everybody.
Agreed.
Pretty much who is from about 9th or 10th upwards.
My point is, this isn't
Barnsley
a league.
aside.
If we, by some absolute fluke, got to the Premier League, you'd have to approach it in a different kind of way and think, this is basically impossible, right? This isn't that. This is... There's a couple of teams that are probably significantly better than us, and the rest were kind of much of a muchness. Whereas Gary's attitude has been as if we were in the Premier League. Our standard way of operating is defence first. 6 defenders, 7 defenders. But that seems lunacy, given the kind of teams we're playing against. Our standard way of operating should be...
Yeah, I don't mind it. I don't mind if we are... it's perfectly okay to be a defensively thinking team.
Yep.
That's all right. I'm not necessarily against that, but you do have to have some kind of more consistent attacking plan.
Yep.
I don't. And what we've had this season is it's fine to do that, have that approach, and we're one of the smaller teams. Against most people, you could start defensively and kind of like that, but you need to have some threat and attack. And too many times this season, we've just had nothing.
Well, it's weird, isn't it? Because Kamari Doyle was a quick player, gone. Vinnie Harper, quick player, not really been used. I know he's been injured a bit. Niskanen, a quick player, can't do anything with it. So if that's our approach, which is an obvious way to defend and then turn it into attack.
Yeah, but I also think it's the options of having... I know McGuinness has played most of this season out of necessity because of Ali leaving. Maybe things would have been different. Ali didn't leave. He's frustrating, but he could come up with some stuff.
Yeah, but we were rubbish before then, weren't we?
True. I think you just need to kind of have options.
Yeah. Pat Jones is clearly...
when things aren't working.
Pat Jones is clearly as brittle as a packet of crisps.
Yeah, I think we've got the wide options are kind of like... There's something in some of them, but they've all got their... Yeah, we're always going to have that. They're injury prone or they're not quite... Whatever. I think you need a bit more quality there. Obviously, we've missed Mitchell, and then when he has come back, he hasn't really played in those positions. But I think you're better off having Mitchell out there or something, because the people... We've got so many number 10s, and none of them seem to be the right player to have.
Yeah.
Because if you're going to play one up front... and with 2 very wide wing backs, you need someone else near them. You need someone, as everyone has said, running beyond McGuinness if he's the sort of focal point, and no one else has done that all season, pretty much. So no matter how many number 10s we buy, we can't either. Colwell isn't telling them to do what they need to do, or they're not the right sort of players to do it. So
you'd expect it. If
I know a number of them will probably go. Next season, maybe Watts there's a good chance Caleb Watts will go.
Mitchell presumably will go.
Mitchell may well go. Colwell's on loan, so we have to imagine that he's gone.
Trevitt
already gone. And then
can you imagine? You've
got Aitchison, who is here, I think, for another year.
Do you think Sonny Cox will clear off?
Probably not.
It must be pretty demoralising.
I wouldn't have thought he'd leave out of his own choice, because that's going to be a big step down if he leaves.
Do you think? Bristol Rovers might take him in League 2?
Well, that's a step down.
Well, that is a step down, but is that a step down from just sitting on the bench most of the time?
I mean, maybe he might want to move on. I don't know. Yeah, but it's possible. We have seen it happen.
Okay, well, that's where we are. More about what's coming up in a second. Welcome back to the Big Bank Theory podcast. Remember, you can email us, bigbankpod@gmail.com. What do you want to see happen next year? What light at the tunnel can you see? Maybe you're living in the light. Maybe you're loving life. Maybe you can't wait for more Coldwell Ball. Possible. If your email address is dperks@gmail.com, I won't accept your opinion.
No. I mean, I think it's fair enough if people are pleased with it. I mean, it's up to them what they choose to prioritise. There's no doubt. I mean, away from home, if you're someone who goes to all the away games, you're probably thinking not too bad because we've had some
heady days,
had some good performances, and some good results, But at home, it's been
dready days.
It has been. It really has been.
So,
yeah. No.
Your loss. Yeah.
I'm not a performing monkey.
All right, fair enough.
You say you do your little puns if you want.
I do. Thank you.
I'm over here doing the journalism.
Oh yeah, my mistake. Sorry, I didn't recognise it. So shall we run through the league? Because that's the only interesting thing now, really. So, like we said, Birmingham are top. They got 95.
Forget them. There is no top.
There is no top.
Who's top?
Wrexham then.
Yes.
They got 82, and then Wickham could catch them. I mean, in theory, Stockport could, but I don't think that'll happen. So Wickham, Stockport, Charlton, Reading look pretty much like the playoffs. Leyton Orient and Bolton are 3 points behind them.
You say Wickham could catch Wrexham, which is mathematically possible.
No, they're only a point behind.
Who have Wrexham got next?
Oh, I don't know. Is it Bristol Rovers?
It is
Bristol Rovers.
At home.
Yeah, bad luck. Wrexham have got winnable games, I would say. So probably they'll go second. Wickham have got very similar run-in, really, except they've got to play Stockport. So they might end up playing Stockport twice, end of the season and then playoffs as well. Then it's all a bit dull. And then at the bottom, like we said, Bristol Rovers now sit at the top of the relegated places. So
the Burton have really pulled themselves out by a combination of good results on their part and terrible results on Bristol Rovers' part.
Right.
And it's interesting because we've obviously, people see it as more of a rivalry than I do. I get it because it's Southwest.
Yep.
I think it's an abomination to be singing about Bristol Rovers as a team during matches which aren't against them.
I agree
against
with you.
Argyle, fine. I don't even accept Torquay. You shouldn't be singing about Torquay. We certainly shouldn't be singing about Bristol Rovers unless you're playing against them. You've got to knock that on the head, boys, because that is wrong.
Just plain wrong. So Shrewsbury...
Don't laugh like you don't agree with me.
I do agree with you.
Yes.
But
we've got... What I'm saying is we've got to play next up. Yes, Bristol Rovers play Wrexham. We play Burton. So
Indeed. So Shrewsbury are down, essentially. Not officially till the next game, but essentially. Cambridge and Crawley are all but down, and then Bristol Rovers or Burton will be one of the other two.
Yeah.
That's not mathematical, but basically is. It means that our league next year potentially is... we've lost some of the southern teams. Obviously, if Argyle come down, that helps us out, and Cardiff too. They may not come down. We're losing Birmingham, which is one of our closest games, and we're losing Crawley, not that far away, and we're
Crawley's miles away.
Yeah, but so's everyone to us, aren't they? Cambridge obviously knocks a further one on the head, but the League Two teams are likely to be more northern than them. So it's a bit of a shame, but whatever.
Well, I think...
I'd rather stay in League One than have local games, obviously.
Yeah, I think
Plymouth coming down.
Contingent are... they don't seem to care. Anywhere. If Argyle come down, obviously they've won at the weekend.
They won at the weekend against Sheffield United, but they are still bottom.
They are, but it's very, very close.
So it could be, if it stays like it is, it'll be Argyle, Luton and Cardiff. Derby and Hull could get drawn into that. Portsmouth could in theory, but they're a bit further ahead. I mean, if Cardiff, Luton and Argyle come down, that's very much more...
Well, they're all in the south, aren't they?
They're all in the south. I'd love to... it's been years since we played Cardiff. I've never seen City play Cardiff, except in a friendly, I think.
Yeah, I can't remember.
And I can't remember playing Luton, although I'm sure we have.
Well, we have. Because
I can't
they were
remember
in League Two. Yeah, that's only... Well, when we played them in the FA Cup last season.
Yeah, of course.
And then also, they were in League Two. They were in League Two the same time as us.
Were they? I don't really remember it.
Yeah, well, they just were.
Okay. Fine. Argyle, I do remember playing.
Possibly even League. Weren't they in League One the first season we went up there?
Maybe.
I think we played Luton.
Okay, fair enough. Yeah, so that's where the league is. Like we said, City could finish as high as 11th. I think as low as...
Well, we could still go down, couldn't we? Mathematically.
Could still go down, yeah. But that would be quite the failing on our part.
Yeah.
Okay, so it's 2-game weekend because it's Easter weekend coming up. Happy Easter. Not yet.
Happy Easter in advance.
Happy Holy Week if you're listening.
We won't be talking to anyone before Easter, so...
That's right. So we've got the Good Friday lunchtime game. Burton, as you said. The Brewers.
Yes.
And beat them and do Bristol Rovers a favour, although I don't imagine they're beating Wrexham.
1 o'clock kick-off.
1 o'clock, don't miss it. Bring your hot cross buns. Bring your Easter eggs, but don't open them till Easter Sunday. Bring your Simnel cake, as previously discussed.
Don't worry about that. Yeah, bring that if you need something to stand on if you can't see.
You've clearly had my Simnel cake before.
I'm just never... I know we've talked about this cake before, but you've brought it up again. So it just sounds like the most horrible thing a man can eat.
No, you're wrong. If you like Simnel cake, if you enjoy it on a Easter
we've
week,
got some
email
proper old codgers listen to this, so I bet they do. I don't like
I don't think it's just the codgers that are into
Simnel. Of course
Simnel.
it is. Nobody your age has ever eaten a Simnel cake apart from you. How do you spell it?
Simnel.
Yeah.
Enjoy. So...
Well, they've tried to make it look a bit fancy on the Google images, but I see what they're doing. It's horrible looking.
Delicious.
What are those balls on it?
That's balls of marzipan to represent the 12 disciples.
Oh, right. That's a bit disrespectful, isn't it?
You don't want to be remembered as a ball of marzipan?
I'd rather not.
What's the matter with you? I hope they make a statue of me out of marzipan.
I'm sure they will.
Yeah.
I'm sure they will.
Let's hope so. And then it's Monday, Easter Monday, away at Crawley, another of the relegation candidates. I think we could put them down as well. I think we could really finish off a couple of these teams.
Yeah.
And we actually, in fairness to us, almost finished off Cambridge, didn't we? That win, they really needed that when McGuinness scored away at Cambridge a couple of months ago, and we were in dreadful form and they were in quite good form. Remember?
Yeah, I do remember, yeah.
Gary Monk got sacked after that, or just before. Well, anyway, we were a stick in the spoke, as they say.
Yeah.
So that's something.
Well, I mean, I think it's because we have been so out, like to look at what we, all you see about Exeter is like, oh, we haven't won for 100 days or whatever, or we're getting. That's really what.
Yeah.
Yes, the people are seeing. So when we turn up and beat you, people just see it, I think, as kind of the ultimate insult, and they think we're going to have to sack the manager now because we can't. We're getting beaten by this lot. I don't think people realise. Actually, no, Gary's he's a solid mid-table guy. I mean, it won't be fun, and you'll go for a big period of like getting absolutely thumped every week.
But he'll get you 50 points.
He's a mid-table guy. Like it or not.
Yeah.
That's what he is. And I think people don't even realise that. I think he's been done a disservice. Maybe they listen to this podcast and think, oh, they slag him off every week. There's no way they do that. They're not listening to this. Imagine that. You're on the board of Cambridge and you're spending your free time listening to some fan podcast of Exeter City and then making a big decision about it based on it.
Yeah, true. But if you are at home thinking, do I try Simnel cake? Please do listen to that. That's an opinion worth hearing.
Your funeral.
Give it a go.
So many nicer things. Easter's like such a lot. There's a load of food around at Easter, isn't there? Do you mean like? And then it seems such a waste of calories to have that.
You keep saying this. Just embrace it. Okay.
No, thank you.
Your loss.
No way.
So Crawley away.
I'd rather eat a pizza twist cake than that.
Pizza twist cake?
Yeah.
Are we still selling the pizza twist?
Yeah, I saw someone with one the other day.
Did you?
Yeah.
They also not listening to the podcast. So that means then there's 2 games left. So, I mean, we should give us a nice home display. Good Friday, lunchtime, should be sunny.
Yeah.
Give us a nice 2 or 3 niller.
Yeah, but we're
sell
playing
the season tickets.
We're playing against Burton Albion.
Yeah.
who are in really good form and have genuinely still got something to play for. Like, they really do need to get some points. They can't rely on Bristol Rovers, although they probably could, but they should. You never know. So they're not going to be they're not going to be on the beach, are they? As much as we might be, they're not.
No.
So they're coming to get something from that game, because I don't know who else they've got to play. But they too probably see us as
Yeah, especially at home.
points,
Yeah.
So it's not going to be a big old laugh, and we can fully expect Gary to go ultra defensive.
How are we getting through this? Because
With
last
our
time
main attacking outlet being Ilmari Niskanen. That's probably what
we put Ilmari up front. No, we'll put up for the last home game of the season. You know this already. Sean McDonald will be playing up front.
He won't do that. It's not, and also it's not the last game of the season.
No, I know this one isn't, but the last.
Well, no, that's not what he does. I'll tell you, what he does.
He puts 2 goalkeepers on the pitch.
No, he puts Perks on the pitch.
Oh, he does.
Because he's a player, isn't he? He's technically a player.
Perks will get a run out. If Perks gets a run out in the last league game of the season, I'll think he's off.
Really?
That would be my sign. I think, he's going. He's already signed a contract with
I think he just be
Doncaster.
enjoying himself.
Maybe. How are we going to get through it? So we use chips to get through the Wigan game. What are we doing to get through the Good Friday game? Easter egg?
Maybe, yeah. Don't go.
You could do that. Could go somewhere nicer.
I mean, it's early, isn't it? So
Yeah.
there's more time to live your life after.
Yeah, I'll be going to the chip shop after. We'll have chips for tea.
There you go then. On Easter,
On Good Friday.
on Good Friday, is that a
Yeah.
thing?
It's a Catholic thing, I think. My grandma used to do it.
Eating chips on Good Friday.
Fish and chips, really, but I don't eat fish, so I just have the chips.
Is that a Catholic thing?
Yeah.
So you say.
No, it is. That definitely is.
Right, you're not a Catholic though.
No, I'm not. My grandma ingrained it into me.
Fair enough.
Thank you, Bridge.
I'll have, I don't know, cereal, Rice Krispies.
Yeah, some Rice Krispies, yeah. Good. Okay. Well,
Have you ever seen
sounds
anyone
fine.
eating a packet of big box of cereal up at the football?
Never seen that. That's quite a step.
Did you ever get on those, those little tiny boxes of cereal?
Yeah.
What were they called?
Selection. What? Variety?
Variety
Yeah.
pack, yeah. Have you ever got one of them and then you just pour the milk straight into the little bag inside it and eat them out of the box?
No, have you?
I have done that, yeah.
How was it?
Well, it works.
Yeah, I know it works, but how was it as an eating experience?
Not as good as a bowl, but
No.
more portable.
Sure, I can see that.
And then afterwards, if you were to take it to the big bank,
Yeah.
lob it straight on the floor
Yeah.
so the volunteers can pick it up.
Straight. Thought you were going to say out of the pitch.
Don't do that. Well, it depends.
Some sloppy
Depends how
cereal.
bad it is, yeah.
I wonder if a footballer's ever been hit by sloppy cereal.
Probably not.
Get a Weetabix in the face that's been, rehydrated.
Yeah, maybe.
Slap.
Ask around.
I'm not encouraging this. I'm just wondering if it's ever happened. Bristol Rovers fans might be bringing wet Weetabix.
I don't reckon.
Wetabix.
It's got to have something to do with... Well, usually when people bring something along to lob on the pitch, it's got something to do with, what's going on there, hasn't it? Like Blackburn fans put a load of chickens on the pitch, didn't they, or something? Or were they planning to?
When it was the Venke brothers.
Yeah.
Is that their name?
It's Venke. I don't know if they're brothers.
Oh, are they not brothers?
Well, I've no idea. I've never heard that before.
I've been living a lie.
Venke, chicken, I know that, but...
I've been calling them the Venke brothers.
They may well be brothers. I don't know. Couldn't tell you.
No, all right. If you know, listeners, bigbangpod@gmail.com.
Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it.
I want to know.
Okay. Don't
Venke
email
bro-
in.
Title your email, Venke Brothers. Yeah.
Yeah.
There's so much
Very
to get in
good.
touch with us about. You can tell it's the end of the season. There's nothing to play for.
We'll have to... Have we done a prediction thing this? I still haven't sent out the prize from last year, so I don't know why people are going to bother. Where's the incentive?
Well, you tell me. You're in charge of prizes. You got one job.
This year, you're in charge of prizes.
All right. Are you going to send Aaron his prize from last year?
Yeah. He's probably stopped listening out of disgust.
He did email in, actually, and said, I'm disgusted. He titled his email Disgusted.
Right, I'm not surprised.
Yeah, all right, I'll do a prize this year.
Yeah.
Won't be as-
I will send it.
It won't be as good as yours, but it will arrive, so...
Well, what would you rather have? A prize that's good but you never get? Or a shit one that you do get?
That's like a metaphor for Exeter City season, I think.
Pretty much. There, exactly, yeah.
All right. Well, that is enough whittering about culinary stuff and prizes.
Probably, yeah.
We'll be back Tuesday, I suppose.
Yeah.
We'll count it down. There's only a few episodes left, of course.
Yeah.
So you can dust off your predictions, or we'll dust them off. Work out who's won that.
Oh, my favourite bit of the season.
It's a lot of admin.
It is.
And then we'll have a break. So fear not, the end is nigh.
Yeah. Snooker starts this week.
Snooker, then the cricket has started.
Yeah.
Then tennis.
And the tennis.
Then there's the Women's World Cup.
Plenty of other things to do.
Yeah. Thanks for listening, everyone. My name's John. I've been here with my friend and colleague Dan.
Cheers.
See you soon.